расскажет. You can start.
Hi everyone. Gonna wait till people will come in. So my name is Moshe, and I'm the CTO at Gingee Games. And what we do in Gingee is we create cross-platform development tools. And this lecture is going to be about practical cross-platform development with Gingee, with a case study. So it's going to be a little bit hands-on. I'm going to go, in the end, I'm going to go through some coding and show how to do some stuff. But first of all, I want to see which of you are developers by a show of hands. Okay. So cross-platform is something very new in the market, and it has a lot of challenges. So I'm not going to go through the challenges because everyone that tried to create a cross-platform application probably encountered the difficulties. But let's just scan through them. So first of all, we have multiple operating systems. We have multiple working paradigms. We have multiple resolution and aspect ratios. We have iPads and small phones, and we have Android and iOS. We have inputs and output devices for each of those devices. So, and in the end, we need to make endless optimization per device. So the problem is that most of the cross-platform solutions out there, they give you a language that can compile to all the devices, which is nice, but this is not the entire problem. The entire problem is the 11,000 Android devices and a few iOS devices that you still need to create. When you use cross-platform tools, you still need to create versions for the iPads or the tablets and the phones and for various resolutions. So what is Gingee? Gingee is a cross-platform development solution that enables distribution of one code and one asset base in one pipeline to multiple devices. That means that you write one code and one assets and you deploy to all, and we're going to see some examples of games later on in this presentation. We give automatic and semi-automatic tools. That means that some of them, they work behind the hood, and some of them you can modify. We reduce the development time as a product of this. We reduce the development time by up to 50%, and we have an SDK for coding ninjas, for guys that like to write code, and we have also a drag and drop IDE that can create code for you, and we'll show that later on. So first thing first, the first thing about cross-platform is performances. We want to get the most out of all the devices, and I'm going to show you some of the performance boosts that Gingee gives out of the box. So this is a demonstration. Everything that I show you now, you can download yourself and try it out on Google Play and on iTunes, and some of them also on Facebook you can play with on the web. So on the left hand, you can see what happens with Adobe Air. We have 11 movie clips on the... You see on the bottom right corner, we have the number of movie clips. And the top left, we have some statistics. So 11 animations, we're running 7 frames per second and 19 megabytes of memory signature. And on the right hand, with Gingee, you can see that we're running 260 animations with 13 frames per second and 7 megabytes of memory signature. So we're getting thousands of percentages of improvements in performances just by using Gingee. This happens with no interference. You just get that out of the box. You can try it on your phone right now, actually. You can download it from iTunes or Google Play. So let's talk about the resolution fragmentation. Resolution fragmentation is probably the biggest problem of cross-platform development. So every year you get a lot of the new devices coming out to the market, and you can't make any assumptions as for the resolution and the aspect ratios that are going to come out. One example is iPhone 5. When it came out, it was really a really big surprise to all the developers, and nobody was up to that. So you can't make any assumptions about the resolution and the aspect ratios. The problem with most UI scaling techniques is that you end up either with dead spaces or you get distorted graphics, and we don't want that. So with Gingee, we have what we call the Liquid UI. Liquid UI is something that helps you create true cross-platform applications that actually scale themselves without getting dead spaces or distortions. So what we do is we distinct between stage and screen. So the red is the stage, which is the normal application, and how it would look if you scale it into the device you're currently running. And you see that on the left and right and top of bottom, you get the dead spaces I was talking about. And that's the screen. And Gingee takes reference to the screen, and it actually uses it with our Liquid UI module, and I'm going to show you later on how to do that. So a little example. So these are a few devices running a game developed with Gingee. You can see side-scrolling games, and you can see that all of those, you have a lot of operating systems and a lot of type of devices and resolutions. All of those do not have any dead spaces or any black areas, and they are not distorted. You're going to see now a video, and I want you to look at it and understand that what you're seeing over here is from the top left to the right is a iPad mini Retina, Nexus 4, LG G2, iPad 2, a PC running on Facebook, iPhone 5, Samsung Galaxy S3, iPhone 4, and Asus Transformer 2, and this is just an example. And what I need you to understand is that everything that you look right now on the screen is running exactly the same code and exactly the same assets. There is not even one line of code difference between those devices. So this is a very powerful tool that gives you a lot of control over your product. Gingee supports most major frameworks out of the box, so we do not limit you to working only with us. A lot of people ask about Starling. They know ActionScript and they work with Starling, so we support Starling and we actually boost Starling and give you a lot of improvements on top of that. Dragon Bones, Box2D, Nape, you name it, we support it. Now let's talk about how easy it is to use Gingee. So Gingee is XML Setup. So everything that you set up in your application is set up with an XML. That means that your entire application is configured with a single file that you can change, and the entire application will respond. You have 40 plus components that are normally used. It's very, very easy to instantiate them and put them on the screen. We have asset management that not only gives you full control of your assets, it also refabricates your asset to work the best way it can on current operating system and device with current GPU and CPU. It knows what it's running on, and it knows what to give the device to run faster. It also shares bitmap data and all the information between those objects, so you don't get to waste any of the information. We have a lot of managers, screen managers, sound managers, which they can give you a lot of out-of-the-box transitions and fade-in, fade-out channels, everything that you are used to, very, very easily configured, and you can use them out of the box. We have unified social media, which is really nice because let's talk about Facebook or vContakte, it doesn't matter. All of those have an API for web, for mobile, and for desktop. You need to use a different API for different platforms. In Gingee, what we've done is we've taken those APIs and we unified them. So you get one cube that you can talk to, and then you can create, even in the social media, you can create one code that will actually reply to all. So you can get all the friend list, post on Facebook, get likes, like an application, do whatever you want, photos, whatever you need, and you can do it very, very quickly and easy. We have analytics engines embedded. We are working with Google Analytics and a few more, but you are not limited to using ours. You can implement a simple interface yourself and just submit it to Gingee, and Gingee will know to give you all the information yourself. So if you have an analytic engine that you like, it will be something that you can use yourself. We have, of course, localization. It's very important to support different languages, and also physics, and I'll show you some examples later on. So let's go a little bit into code. So what you see on the left right now is a scroller with a few animations and a dynamic text field on the top and an input text on the bottom. So how easy it is to instantiate one of those. So I'm going to show you. A text is configured only by 4 lines of code. So you create a new text instance with the text going inside. You add it to the display list. You set the alignment for the Liquid UI to know where to put it. And you set the scaled Y to 20. So it will know how to create what's 20 pixels in my device. Now you see that there are a lot of things that are missing here, like the color of the text or the font. these are all configured, pre-configured in the XML I was talking about. So you can use the pre-configured data that you've written in the XML, and you can also override it, and in the instantiation, actually create a new text field that does not comply with the normal behavior of the other texts. But you don't have to, and that's the power of this tool. So you can really write really fast code for your game. Let's look at scrollers. So this is how you would instantiate a scroller with Gingee. It's a GUI scroller. You just give it the width and the height. You submit the items inside. You set the alignment, the inner alignment method. You go and build the scroller itself. You add it to the display list and set the alignment, and that's it. A few, like 7-8 lines of code, and you get a really nice scroller working out of the box. As for input text, again, you instantiate a new input text field, give it the width, add it to the stage, align it, set the text if you want, set the Y if you want to do that, and that's it. So it's very easy to do that. Another example would be something like that. So here we have a screen manager with 2 screens running a parallax background, and I'm really sorry for the laggy video. I didn't get a really nice screen capture software. So you see we have some buttons here that gets you from one screen to another, and also an animation running with a parallax background. All the ingredients for a side-scrolling games. So how easy it is to actually create that. Here is how you create screens and how you submit them to the screen manager. So you create a new screen. They are all extension to a basic screen class that Gingee creates. So you can enter what type of screen it is. You can enter if it is a pop-up, a message screen, or a regular screen. So it's a screen type over here. And also you can select the transition type. We have a lot of transitions out of the box, and you can create your own transitions yourself if you don't like what we give. So you create those screens, you submit them to the screen manager, you add the screen manager to the stage, and you go to screen, and that's it. It works. And the last thing is how you would instantiate an animation. Now, Gingee likes and uses sprite sheets, which is very, very easy, and most of the people, they like to use that. But we can also utilize Flash movie clips and actually convert them to something that actually works on mobile. So you can create a GUI animation sheet out of a number of sprite sheets, and also out of a movie clip. So here you can see that we create from a sprite sheet. It's called Turtle Swim, and we get the default sprite sheet, and that's it. It works. So this is for the code. So the next thing I want to talk about is the IDE. The Gingee IDE is a simple drag and drop interface. You can drag and drop your way to an application. So everything I've shown you so far requires really good knowledge in programming, of course, and it's written in ActionScript 3, by the way. But the Gingee IDE, its advantages is, first of all, of course, it's a drag and drop interface, so it's very easy to create stuff with. But it's a code generator. So that means that when you create a game with the Gingee IDE, you are not limited to what the Gingee IDE has to offer. You are only limited by your imagination, because what you do with the IDE is you press File, Export, and it exports the code for you. You get the classes, you get all the code, and you can inject anything that you'd like inside. We have editors for animations, physics, actions, and all of those kind of stuff. And what I want to show you right now is one demonstration of how you create physics with the Gingee IDE. So I go to the IDE itself. So it's going to be a little bit hard. So this is the screen as you see it over here, and you can see how it looks. We have 2 screens over here that are very complex physics. We can see how it looks on different devices. And see how it behaves. It jumps to the other screen. And see how it behaves on different devices. But let's say I want to create a physics body myself, and how easy it is or hard it is to actually do that. So let's look at the IDE. It looks a little bit like Photoshop. Left hand is the creation tabs. We have the project, which has all the screens inside and some properties. We have components over here, over 40 components that you can use, social networks, scrollers, buttons, images, text, that you can drag out. We have the library over here with all the components, and we have the plugins. So if I want to create a physics body that's a little bit complex, something like that, because it's not a circle and it's not a rectangle, it's something that requires a little bit in depth, it has a lot of curves, I will drag it to the screen. And if I look at it right now, you will see that it doesn't interact with the bodies, of course, because it's just an image. So next thing I need to do is I go to the Physics tab while selecting it. I click Edit, and I see the body bigger. So I have a lot of tools for creating the body. I can create rectangles. I can create circles. I have a polygon tool, of course, that can create here whatever I like. And also the lazy tool that follows the alpha. So I select the lazy tool. It follows the alpha of the image. I can reset most of its parameters, and I can redrag and delete and add points. Then I save the physics body, I close it, and you see that it's painted red. That means that it has a physics body inside. So all I need to do right now is enable physics. I don't see if I'm doing it, so yes. And select the body type to dynamic, click apply, and I'm hoping I can get it. Well, it fell, but you didn't see it. So let's make it interact with the mouse and even jump a little bit. So click apply, and now you see that it jumps, and I can drag it in and interact with all these bodies. Now let's say that I like this physics body and I want to create 10 of these. All I do is Control D or Control C, Control V, and that's it, and it works. So as you will see right now, it is very, very easy to create. It took me 5 to 10 seconds to create a physics body that would have taken a programmer a lot of time to create. And the fun part about it is, again, that this is a code exporter. So everything that you do here, you can create your own game logic, your own game engine that can do whatever you want. You're not limited to what we do. Let's go back. Sorry. So, and the last thing I want to tell you is that everything I just showed you is completely free to download. Gingee is a new tool that we are out only 3 months, so you can download it for free. We give our developers a free full version of Gingee. It is available on gingee.com/download. So go in, download it yourself, and try it out yourself. You have a lot of explanations, a lot of video tutorials online. You can try it out. And that's it. Thank you very much. And the last thing is that we have a Gingee Mingle at 6 o'clock until 8 o'clock. You can drink some beer and some vodka, so you can enjoy yourself. And thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Moshe. У кого-то есть вопросы? Поднимайте руку. Я к вам подойду с микрофоном.
I have a question. How working with Google Play game services or same for iOS?
With what? Google?
Google Game Play services.
Like in-app purchases?
On the Android.
It works seamlessly. You can work with any Google or iTunes service. We have in-app purchases for iTunes and Google Play. We work with the Facebook coins. Everything that you need, you can do that. It is ActionScript, so everything that works with Adobe Air and Flash works with us.
Okay, thanks.
So what's the origins of this technology? This is addition to Air compilator or something?
Yes, it is an addition to Air compilator. We are an accelerator to Air. We give a lot of performance boost on top of Air and a lot of tools that Air does not give.
So it works better than Adobe?
Exactly. Much better.
Еще есть вопросы у кого-то?
Hello. I got a question about monetization. What are your plans?
For the company?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good question. Because there is always free cheese only in the mousetrap. So currently what we get when you download and try out our product is we get a splash screen 3 to 5 seconds in the beginning of the game with our logo. It says powered by Gingee. That's the only thing we get out of that. We will have a pro version in the future. But the thing about that is we are game developers. We did not come up with this platform. In the beginning, we were just developing games. So we know what game developers like. They don't like when people say, okay, you can publish to Android, but not to iOS. To iOS, you need to pay me money. So what we do is we give tools that actually will be in the pro version and will make your life easier. So you can do without them. You can do it yourself, but it will take you some time. If you use our tools, it will take you less time to do the same thing. So if you want to pay us money because you use that a lot, you buy that tool or you buy the full subscription and then you get them. If not, you can still use all the things that I've shown you right now is completely free. We don't have a pro version yet. We will have in the next month. So everything that I've shown you is completely free and a lot more. So you can use the free version and do yourself what you want to do. So
Thank you.
Do you plan to have some asset store? I mean, you have 40 components.
yes.
But maybe for many developers it will be just a little of what they want
Yes.
to use. And maybe they won't be able to make extensions by themselves, and it would be great if you can buy just from some
Okay, so that's a good question as well, because we have a plugin system that people can create plugins for other people. We know that we're 20 people company. It's not big, it's not small, but we can do as much, we can't do everything. So what we did is the IDE itself is completely pluginable. People can write plugins, and if you want, you can come afterwards. I will show you some of the plugins people already written. And then you can download them and play with them. So there are plugins for full games. You have a side-scrolling game plugin. We have a slot machine plugin that you change all the assets yourself to your assets. It creates all the backend for you, and that's it, and it works. So these are things that we do, and also programmers can do and sell themselves. So it will be something that can benefit to programmers.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have easy solution for creating native extensions or adding native extensions for game?
Short version, no.
Okay, thanks.
I'm sorry. No, actually no, because we do not. Our tool, in the future, we're going to have our own compiler because we know how to get a little bit more performances out of the games, especially in mobile. So we plan to have our own compiler, and when we do that, the ANE will not be necessary. You will not need that. So we do not work. We work with native extensions. If you have native extensions that you use, you can use them with Gingee. We do not block that, but we don't create them ourselves.
У нас есть еще минутка на один вопрос. Никто не хочет ничего спросить?
You say that you plan to release a pro version in the future. When do you expect this version to be released? And if possible, can you give us an idea about the prices?
Of course. So the pro version will be released in a time frame of 3 months from now. Probably less, but 3 months is our limit. And the price will be approximately, the biggest pro version is approximately $42 a month per seat. So it's fair enough, so it's not too expensive. $42 a month, and everything that you release, you already released. We do not take any information from your application or anything like that.
Oh, thanks a lot, Moshe.
Thank you.
That was the great lecture.